to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.
Razabani for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. We're here in Manchester. I just saw the weigh-in between Chris Eubank Jr. and Liam Smith. With me, Dean White. Dean, great to see you, my friend. How are we doing?
I'm all good. How you doing?
I'm good. And it's been a tough couple of months for yourself personally. How are things?
Slowly but surely, man. We're just, slowly but surely taking it in, one day at a time. But today's today and we're here for the boxing, you know what I'm saying? So it's nice to be back out, surrounded in stuff I love, and taking in such a nice little event today. It's quite interesting, some real good fights. Echo Esserman, Congo, great fight. The Eubank-Smith, very, very good fight. Two talented guys, a lot of experience. So Liam's coming up. And then Eubank's coming down. It's, good style of fight, man. It's very intriguing.
I'm sure you watched or saw highlights of the press conference yesterday. Both men said a lot of things to each other, and it looked like it got really, really personal. What did you make of it all?
I think it was light-hearted. Reading the comments and stuff. Obviously, both guys are saying little things. I've heard worse. I didn't really, talking about someone's family is sometimes a bit much, but I've more heard something to do with cheating and some other stuff. It didn't sound too. I heard the board's now involved. I think maybe that might be a bit too extreme. I don't know. It's down to them. It's their call. These guys pay them license fees and maybe they don't want to hear derogatory stuff and stuff. I don't know. But, I think sometimes, we should be allowed to be free of speech and vocal about whatever you choose to talk about. Obviously, there was things they spoke about maybe they might not be too keen about, but I mean, freedom of speech is, part of our human rights, so it's kind of strange when it gets to something like that. But let's say, look, it is what it is. Look, it's a selling point. People are talking about it, and it's a good fight. Eubank, he's got Roy Jones, he's doing that, Roy Jones X style, and his style, he's tough, he's durable. And then Liam Smith is Liam Smith, man. He was a champion for a long time, and he's only lost to really top elite, big punchers. I wouldn't consider Eubank Jr. the biggest puncher, but he probably packs a punch, explosive, sharp, and very fit. So one thing we know is Liam's relentless, and Chris Eubank Jr.'s fitness is quite relentless. So it's a good style of match. He's going to come forward. He's not going to have to look for Liam. So we're interested. We're in for an interesting fight, and I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to Echo Esserman and Congo, and an intriguing one with Parker and Massey, which mind boggles me at sometimes how that fight was kind of made. But look, it is what it is. It's boxing. People getting their head punched in. I'll endeavour to enjoy. But I just was a bit confused because Massey was cruiserweight, and then. But it's quite a big cruiserweight maybe. And then Parker, I felt that there's other fights for Parker, but I don't know. I heard him mentioning Dillian. I don't know. I think Dillian's looking for the biggest fights. And if you look at that fight, it's a big fight, but financially I don't know if it's viable because of finances. And Parker's stock is dropping. Even though you're talking about a hell of a fight, him and Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce is a wrecking machine, but he's still got, he's lost recently and his stock's dropped because he's lost a few times since then. But look, I like Parker, he's a good guy, and it's an interesting fight, but maybe tomorrow they might prove me wrong and it might be fight of the night, but we're only going to find out tomorrow.
We know when Joshua, everyone's talking about his style when he fought Usyk, and he shouldn't have done that, and he should have done this, and he should have been more aggressive, and he should have done what he's comfortable with doing. Chris Eubank Jr., he slightly altered his style as well with Roy Jones. Are you a fan of that? Do you like what you see from that combination of Roy Jones and Chris?
I don't know. Do you know what? I did prefer the more aggressive, letting his hands go a lot more. But with boxing, it's called boxing, so you should use lateral movement, use your ring, use your ring IQ, ring generalship, using your jab. So it's, to win fights, it's not always about throwing a million punches because you're open to get countered when you do that. So experience and time Now he's got someone who, you know, has been around the block, one of the Hall of Fame, one of the best to ever do it. So he's giving him those key ingredients. So I think if their styles merge, so at times he'll have to fight, at times he'll have to use his feet and move. It'll be interesting.
You mentioned Dillian Whyte obviously had his fight with Jermaine Franklin a couple of months ago. He's going to look to get out again very, very soon as well. Anthony Joshua's looks like he's moving to Dallas to join forces with Derek James. First, what do you make of that relationship and that combination?
I think that's Derek James, good guy. I know him well. He's my little brethren. We chat. Look, he's what they call it. What they announced him Coach of the Year, was it? He's had 2 unified champions in one of the Charlo and then Earl Spence. So his resume is took for itself. You know what I mean? I.e. those are talented fighters nevertheless, but he still needs to hone and direct them in the corner to give them the right data to go out and process. So I mean, I think it's a good move. It's all down to Joshua if he can digress and take in that data he's giving him and go and put all of that out and put it to work. So, you know, I wish Joshua all the best. I hope for that move helps him. He, you know, he takes in and comes back and we see him in good form coming back. I heard the Jermaine Franklin fight. I mean, that's a great fight for me because, I mean, him and Dillian had a good, tough fight. So we see what kind of pedigree and the level he's at. So it'll be nice to see how Joshua deals with him and, you know, how that all pans out. But yeah, I'll be keen to see that fight, to see what he does. But we know he's tough. We know he's durable. He's got fast hands, got good boxing IQ, and durable. But Joshua throws a good jab, good right hand, and I think to beat someone like you need a good 1-2 straight down the middle. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, that's a fight I'll be interested in seeing. I don't know. I heard of the Hrgovic. I think Hrgovic he's decent, but we saw against some of the other guys in America. In Zhang, that fight, I think he lost that fight, and he got the nod. So we know he's got dents as well, but he's still, you know, he's a confident guy because he's still undefeated. So you know what I mean. If he fights Franklin, maybe his confidence might be dented, and you know, it might be something where they're both coming off a loss, and it'll be like, you know, in the eyes of people looking at it, like it's like, you know, both guys are in a similar position where they need to go out there and win. But I'll be rooting for him anyway. So yeah.
Dean, I know it's all about getting Joshua out. It's all about finding a top 15 opponent, but is there so much pressure because it is almost a must-win? He can't lose.
There is a lot of pressure. There's humongous pressure on the man, and it's not fair. Obviously, he's only human. For him to be having to deal with this pressure because he's in the public eye. He's one of the darlings of boxing, and now he's in a position where he's lost his titles, and there's a lot of questions being asked from him. So mentally, it is a tough place to be. But you know, hopefully, God willing, he finds himself and be able to deal with that and come back and find whatever he needs to find so he can push on and start to get back to winning ways, because it is pressure, because if he loses, where does he go then? You know what I mean? And you know, I'd like to see him stay in boxing because I feel like he's achieved great stuff for himself, his family, and the people of boxing, because he's brought on this whole country through boxing. Obviously Tyson Fury is out here now doing his thing, but obviously when he was coming through, he wasn't really about like that. Joshua was leading the charge, doing everything, bringing big time boxing back to TV and Sky and so on. So yeah, we want to see him on his charge and want to see him progress and do good and continue flying the flag for where we come from.
You said Dillian Whyte, it's all about the biggest fights, the most financial, rewarding fights. That is Anthony Joshua. Eddie Hearn has spoken about it, that we need to get Joshua out once, and then that's the summer fight with Dillian. Is that the fight you want Dillian to have again?
You know what? Obviously, look, it's down to him and the team. Obviously, Joshua's got to fight, he's got to win. Dillian's got to find someone, I'm sure. I think our best Dillian Whyte is an active Dillian Whyte, so he needs to not sit back and not fight. I think maybe, but then at the same time, he's not just going to fight anyone, so I doubt he will fight. Then it's the gamble of fighting, because all of these fights at the heavyweight division are tough. As we saw, someone we didn't know. You know, from obscurity, people didn't know Franklin, and he gave Dillian quite a tough fight. So people are being, Dillian's lost it or this. But what you might need to think is, someone who's 23-0, you don't get given 23-0 records. You know what I mean? You must have, and I think he had about 10, 11, 12 knockouts. So he was capable. So you know, people saw what he was and his skill set, and hopefully from that he'll get more fights so people can truly see. It'd be interesting to see him fight some of the other guys like Daniel Dubois. You know, some of these guys coming up, and see how Daniel Dubois does against him. We saw Daniel Dubois struggle in his last fight against the cruiserweight kid, and you know, so it's interesting. You know, Franklin could come in here bite Joshua, give him the rounds he needs, and maybe gives him a struggle, and hopefully Joshua, pulls through and wins, because he doesn't need easy fights. He needs fights that's going to test him, so it tests his mettle to know where he is and his desire, and to see if he truly wants to be in this game and wants to climb back to the top of the mountain. You know what I mean?
They have this saying in boxing, a good big guy beats
That's one of my favourite lines.
Tyson Fury-Usyk. It seems like he's edging closer. Contracts are in review at the moment. I know they're going to confirm a date and location, but do we go with that cliche, or can Usyk cause him problems?
Of course he can. Usyk, man. Usyk was undisputed cruiserweight champ, came unified in the heavyweight. Listen, he is everyone's worst nightmare. Southpaw, tricky, elusive, can move, is fit as fuck, can do the rounds. So he's always someone, but like I say, a big good and beats a small good. Tyson Fury is fit enough, he does the rounds, good ring generalship, good jab, good footwork. I feel like, he does the business, and I'll be rooting for him to do the business.
We know the crazy life story of Francis Ngannou, of what he went through in his life and how he ended up as in the UFC, and then all of a sudden becoming the heavyweight champion. Mm-hmm. He's now released from his contract. He wants to do boxing. He's mentioned Joshua. He's mentioned Fury. He's mentioned White and others. Can he cause problems in the heavyweight division?
You know what? Right now I'm thinking, I can't remember how his footwork is. To be honest, if you don't have, a lot of the UFC fighters don't always have the best footwork. He might have punching power, but he might not have the best footwork. So, yet again, does he get past a lot of these guys with championship elite level jabs? That's the first thing. He might have the power, but then to let off that right hand, you need to have good feet work, understand distance. In the UFC, it's a bit different with smaller guys, 4 ounces. But listen, don't make no mistakes. Anyone he comes on the chops, he's in banging trouble. So, you know what I mean? Can he knock them out? Hell yeah, if he catches them. But does he have the capability and the skill set to understand ring generalship, using jabs, the parrying, like that? So, I mean, like I said, he's done really good. He's built his brand. He's got a formidable, force with him in terms of the fans that follow him. And it'll be interesting. I'd like to see a couple of these mixed kind of fights with these guys. So, yeah.
Finally, just bringing it back to here, obviously live and exclusive on Sky Sports box office. Prediction? Who wins main event?
Win. We're all winning.
I know we all win, but who wins the main event?
Very, very tough fight. I'm not going to lie. I think we've got an argument for both guys. We've got, and like I said, I actually like the Smith family very well. All of the boys. Eubank's more my brethren who have done more stuff, partying, gone all the other stuff. So if I had to lean towards anyone, I would lean towards that. But I feel like I just wish both guys well when they come out healthy and safe, and they put on a hell of a show, and the world could be proud of them. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, we look forward to it. It goes down in just over 24 hours. Dean, thank you for your time, my man, as always. And
to you guys, the fans that are viewing, big up yourselves. All the people that reached out and always continue to reach out and send kind and good message. I appreciate you guys. Love the sport. Love the game.
Good to see you back at these events. Dean White, IFL TV, thank you very much.
I'm going to share something with you that might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife for saying completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.